How do you track which packages were installed on Ubuntu, Linux? This question is very similar to 10,458. It was suggested that Fedora and Ubuntu/Debian are different enough to warrant different answers. As I use any Ubuntu setup, I gradually install a number of packages over and above the baseline installation. If I reinstall, or if I need to install a new machine, I usually want to reinstall those specific packages, and I want to do it fast to get back to work with a minimum of hassle. As far as I've seen, all of the package managers, apt-get, aptitude and synaptic, can tell me which packages are installed, and they all have logs, albeit different ones for each tool, which is a hassle. But none of them can tell me which packages I've installed, as opposed to their dependencies or system updates. Even the logs are tricky in that I'm not entirely sure what I should be extracting from them, or how to integrate them, in the case of the various apt family tools. This means that each time I reinstall, or even just backup, I'm not sure how to recreate that list. I'm not necessarily expecting any of the tools to do this for me, but if they don't, I'm looking for workarounds. Even patterns to grep for, good rules of thumb, or a clear idea of what exactly is being logged, would be useful. There may not be a best answer here, but good ones would be very helpful. Most of the answers below provide some approximation of what I am looking for, and are useful to some degree. The chosen one is the one that comes closest to a reasonably automatic way of reinstalling my tools on a new system, even with all its caveats.
On any Debian-based machine, this is one common way to duplicate a package set. On the old machine, copy the file my_favorite_packages to the new machine. A thumb drive is a good option, but SCP also works fine. Then run this sequence with root privileges. This doesn't get you only the packages you installed. It also gets their dependencies, etc. Also, if the repositories between the two machines are different, all bets are off. As far as logs, apt-get keeps a log at /var/log/apt/history.log. Thanks to Chepang for updating this in a comment. dpkg does at /var/log/dpkg.log, but it's famously hard to parse and can only be read with root privileges. Aptitude has one at /var/log/aptitude, and you can page through it with regular user privileges. As far as I can tell, you are right that none of these logs track specifically what you installed as opposed to auto-installed dependencies. You can get that information, however, from an aptitude search. Search for all installed packages that were also installed automatically. If you want only the ones you installed, not the auto dependencies, negate the M. If you want that formatted so that you have only the names of packages and the word install, aptitude can do that too. This gives you a list ready to feed to. dpkg git selections. I've got nothing on Red Hat or Red Hat-based systems. Sorry. There really is no one answer for Linux per se, since package management is a big part of what makes different distros different.
Use dpkg-l and gt jaunty.original to remember all installed packages on a freshly installed system. After you have installed all your additional packages, do dpkg-l and gt mysystem.2009017. The additional packages are just the difference. diff jaunty.original mysystem.2009017.
Aptitude is actually quite good at this. Aptitude does know when something was installed by hand or by dependency, and you can tell it to remove things that are no longer needed and were only installed because something else depended on it, always keeping up your system as small as possible. There's a handful of packages that make up an Ubuntu installation: Ubuntu Minimal, Ubuntu Desktop, Ubuntu Server, and so on. If you tell Aptitude to mark those as manually installed and remove everything else, then you end up with the minimum amount possible of packages. I explain how to do all that in 2 posts at my blog, Cleaning Up a Debian New/Linux and Cleaning Up a Debian New/Linux, or Ubuntu, Reprise. In short, the answer you are looking for is the last time I worked with that. If you used apt-get, then it didn't work. That's why I always recommend Aptitude, and as far as I know, Debian is deprecating apt-get in favor of Aptitude. I don't know how to do it on Fedora, and you should probably separate that into a different question. Fedora and Ubuntu are different operating systems, and should be treated as such, even if they share their kernel and some other stuff.
When just using dpkg, you don't know whether the package was manually installed by the user or automatically, as a dependency or during the initial OS install. If you want to retain that information, you need to get a list of only the packages that were actually manually installed. For that, you can use either of these 2 one-liners. Both yield the exact same output on my machine and are more precise than all solutions proposed up until now in this question. They are a combination of the 2 answers, 1 and 2. Note that I originally posted this answer here. Using aptmark. Using aptitude. Very few packages still fall through the cracks, although I suspect these are actually installed by the user, either right after the installation through the language localization setup or, for example, through the Totem codec installer. Also, the Linux header versions also seem to accumulate, even though I've only installed the non-version specific meta package. Examples: How does it work? Get the list of manually installed packages. For aptitude, the additional sed strips out remaining whitespace at the end of the line. Get the list of packages installed right after a fresh install. Compare the files, only output the lines in file 1 that are not present in file 2. Other possibilities don't work as well. Using the Ubuntu 14.04 desktop and 64.manifest file here for Ubuntu 14.04 instead of /var/log/installer/initial-status.gs. More packages are shown as manually installed even though they are not. Using aptmark showauto instead of /var/log/installer/initial-status.gs. aptmark, for example, doesn't include the server's org package, while the other file does. Both list more packages than the above solution.